You can go ahead and get to scrap pile because we're going to use it. Today we are making my top 3 quilt blocks for beginners. The most beautiful, the funnest, the most rewarding quilt blocks you will ever make. If it's been a while since you've made a quilt block, don't worry, we are doing this nice and slow. Guys, this just may be the most perfect video I've ever made. I don't know, you tell me, let's go. So these are the fabrics I've chosen for our first one, and if you know me, you know exactly what my first quilt block would be. So we are just going to cut 5-inch squares from each of these fabrics. Let's do it. Now we put one on top of the other, and we're just going to sew all 4 sides. And look at my sewing machine, it is bad. My Lazy Susan would be very handy for this, but I don't have it today, I forgot it. Do you know what I'm making right now? I mean, you gotta know, right? I always make these. So we have 4 half square triangles, done really quick. And now we just need to trim our ears off. Okay guys, so before I show you the quilt block I have in mind, let's play with it a little bit. You do know that's my favorite part, right? So we have 4 half square triangles, and there's actually a lot of cute stuff we can do. This one, but this is not what I had in mind. We can, let's see, we can do something like this. We can do something like this. You know, there are a lot of things. Yeah, my channel just got taken over. There is no respect for the creator here, ladies and gentlemen. The cameraman thinks he can sew now. Let's do what we came here to do, because, you know, it's a pinwheel. It's a pinwheel quilt block. It had to be a pinwheel quilt block. You do know pinwheels are my absolute favorite ones. Imagine a whole quilt made out of pinwheels in different colors. I mean, how gorgeous are pinwheels? And this is our pinwheel. It is 5.5 inches. And this is our first top beginner quilt block. Let's move on to my second basic but wonderful quilt block. I'm not telling you what it is just yet. I'm liking this kind of mystery stuff. Okay, so we need 2 white strips of 2.6.5 inches. I just love this fabric, it's really colorful. We need 2 strips of white fabric, and then we get 4 different fabrics and we cut 1 strip out of each. This is what we have. Look at that little girl with some birds and a mushroom. Is this a cat or a fox? I never really know what this is supposed to be. Okay guys, so with this fabric we are going to make what is essentially 2 blocks. It's not our final blocks, but it's 2 blocks we need before we keep going, okay? So one of it, we have 2 whites and a color like this, and this is our, maybe the stars in the middle, and this is our second block, and we're just gonna sew the whole, you know, the 3 strips together into 2 squares. As you may have noticed, we are going to make 2 quilt blocks at once. How practical it is to actually be making 1, but then you get 2, you know, 2 for the price of 1. And if you think about it, these would be pretty cute in themselves, right? We can make one like this, one like this, but that's not what we're making. We are going to chop these off again into strips. We have 6 strips in total, 18 squares, so you know what we're doing, right? We are making 2 9-patch quilt blocks. Not all 9-patch quilt blocks are alike, so I am making 2 that I have in mind. Let me show you. So for the first one, we are going to use 2 of the whites, and we are making a cute little cross. When it comes to patch quilt blocks, you know, 4-patch, 9-patch, 16-patch, I think that the 9-patch is the most versatile of the bunch. You know, the 4-patch is a little bit too simple, and the bigger ones are just too much of a hassle. Look at that, guys, 2 quilt blocks just like that. Let's pin this into place so we don't have to worry about them running away from us when we're sewing, okay? So we nest the seams, one goes this way, the other goes the other way, right? I love making quilt blocks. I hope you do too. So this is our 2 quilt blocks right here. This one is one of those, oh my, this looks like such hard work, when in fact it is easy peasy lemon squeezy and you're done. I'm going to be using white fabric, and this is not actually fabric, this is a sheet. We're going to need 2 8 8-inch squares. I know I am not the most precision quilter out there, not at all, but I don't care. I just want to have fun and make beautiful things. And now we cut 2 squares of the same size, so 8-inch squares of this blue fabric. We put one color on top of the other, but now instead of sewing all around like we did with the pinwheel, we are going to draw diagonal lines. And now essentially we just sew on both sides of our lines for our 2 squares, okay? For anything like me, your brain will want to sew on the line, okay? Keep your focus, stay away from that line. Now that we have sewn on both lines, we are cutting in all directions. We are cutting horizontally, vertically, diagonally, in every which way. And I am very upset that I did not bring my quilting Lazy Susan yet. I will bring it, but it's not here now, so I'm just gonna have to be really careful. And this gives us exactly 8 half square triangles per square. We have 2, that means we will get 16 half square triangles before we're done. So yeah, this is by far the fastest, simplest way to make half square triangles. Let's see, our standard run-of-the-mill squares. This is a big one, okay? This is definitely going to be a very big quilt block. So let's go up. So we can make this. You can see it, right? It's actually cute. We can make some flying geese, which I always love. You can make them like this, or like this. Maybe I'll make them like this. I love my flying geese. I think these are really cool. We can make some strips, like something like this. You can do this all day. Half square triangles are so versatile, and there's just so much you can do with 16 of them. Strips, we have strips. What I wanted to make for this one, my third top quilt block for beginners, one of those that looks really hard but it's actually really easy to make, are chevrons, right? Everybody loves a chevron. We just do like this. And like this. Now, if you made 8 of one color and 8 of another color, we would have 2 different colored rows of chevrons, which in the big picture looks really, really cool. I didn't want to do, you know, something very complicated. I wanted to keep it simple and show you how gorgeous simple can make, right? I promised you awesome, I promised you perfect, and I think this is pretty close to it, right? So here's our chevron. Now all we need to do is sew the whole thing together and we'll be done. And there we have it, our chevron is complete, and so is our top 3 for beginner quilt blocks. Guys, I hope you had fun, I know I had a blast, and I will see you really soon. Bye bye!